In July of 2026, the cost of a one-way flight from Dhaka to Dubai suddenly exploded. A ticket that normally cost 30,000 taka shot past 100,000 overnight. That price surge was driven by pure panic. A rumor was tearing through social media, claiming the UAE had voided the residence visas of 5,000 Bangladeshi expats without warning. Thousands of workers who were home on vacation flooded the airports. They were terrified that if they didn't get on a plane immediately, they would be locked out of the country and lose their livelihoods. For these workers, getting locked out means cutting off the primary financial lifeline for their families back home, who rely on the monthly remittance checks sent from the Middle East. But as the dust settled, investigators started looking into the numbers. They needed to find out if this mass deportation was actually happening, or if the panic was covering up a much quieter, deeper crisis. Official government data revealed the 5,000 figure was entirely false. In reality, exactly 626 Bangladeshi visas were hit by an automated system cancellation. The exact same automated purge hit citizens of Nepal, Pakistan, Egypt, and the Philippines simultaneously. Those 626 canceled visas were mostly an administrative glitch, but the panic they caused distracted everyone from the real problem: an unannounced shadow ban. Starting in late 2024, the UAE quietly stopped issuing new visas for Bangladeshi citizens. Approval rates for labor, tourist, and transit visas effectively flatlined to near zero. While the internet was freaking out over a myth, a silent administrative wall had already been built, trapping a 1.2 million-strong labor market in bureaucratic limbo. So if it wasn't a political conspiracy, what actually caused those 626 auto-cancellations? It turns out they were just routine administrative housekeeping. Employers went bankrupt or contracts ended, and the immigration system automatically deactivated the associated visas. The shadow ban, however, is a direct response to a string of systemic problems, starting with the price of migration. Moving from Bangladesh to the Gulf costs several times more than it does from neighboring countries like Nepal. To cover these massive fees, desperate workers often turn to predatory middlemen. To guarantee approval, these brokers routinely submit forged documents, faking everything from police clearances to experience certificates. The UAE uses a highly advanced digital immigration security system. When fraudulent paperwork hits their servers, the system intercepts the files and instantly flags them. It only takes a few intercepted forgeries for the authorities to notice a pattern. Before long, the credibility of the entire Bangladeshi recruiting network was in question. Workers were trying to bypass an overpriced system, but their reliance on fake documents directly triggered the UAE's zero-tolerance security protocols. The friction didn't stop at the border. Inside the UAE, a significant number of Bangladeshi nationals were entering on short-term tourist visas and then overstaying to look for jobs off the books. This widespread overstaying threw off the UAE's carefully managed demographic targets, forcing the government to initiate strict internal reviews of their labor force. Then came the tipping point. In July of 2024, political unrest back in Bangladesh sparked a series of street protests by expats living in Dubai. In the UAE, public unrest and expatriate political demonstrations are strictly illegal. Taking those domestic grievances to the streets crossed a firm security boundary for the host government. Systemic document fraud, widespread overstays, and the violation of local protest laws converged to shift the UAE's risk assessment. Authorities responded by freezing new visa issuance while they reevaluated the entire recruiting pipeline. The fallout from this ban is punishing the people who played by the rules. There are currently 1.2 million Bangladeshi expats already working legally in the UAE, and they are now caught in the crossfire. If a legal worker tries to change jobs or their company shuts down, the visa freeze makes it incredibly difficult to secure a new sponsor. They are at high risk of falling out of status and becoming undocumented. The damage is also hitting the domestic economy. Outbound travel agencies in Bangladesh that built their businesses around UAE routes have seen their revenue dry up entirely. High-level diplomatic talks are now underway to repair the relationship. As a first step, authorities are already processing renewals for 417 of those original 626 canceled visas. But apologies won't lift the shadow ban. To reopen the market, Bangladesh has to completely eliminate the fraudulent brokers and prove they can export skilled professionals who respect the laws of their host country. In today's digitized labor market, the UAE's automated systems now use patterns of individual violations to determine national eligibility. These security flags have effectively locked the gates to Bangladesh's second-largest destination for overseas employment.